Hey ladies, I am Jenna Shockley. I am the church coordinator for our local moms group. We are called the Orchard Ruston. We are a ministry that serves moms of young children all over north central Louisiana, mostly Lincoln Parish. We are hosted by the Bridge Community Church, but what we love about our group is that it is a community-wide group. We serve moms from over a dozen local churches, and so we love to get together every week on Wednesday mornings for Bible study and fellowship and different things like that. But right now, we're not going to do that. And so, whether you are part of our group or not, we are glad that you are here. And we just want to thank you for whatever you're doing right now to serve our community during this time, whether that is staying home and keeping your people home and safe, or maybe you are working 24-hour shifts away from your people. Whatever you are doing right now to serve during this time, we thank you for that. And we just want to come on here this morning. We're going to be posting several videos throughout the morning, and we hope to do it every week as long as this quarantine lasts. We will miss getting together, but I think this will be a good time together anyways. And we're glad that you are here joining us today, especially if we've not gotten to meet you. Jump in on the comments and things and just get a little encouragement today while you are at home doing whatever you are called to do today. So like I said, my name is Jenna Shockley. I've been married to Daniel for almost 13 years. I think that's right. I should know that by now. We have 4 beautiful children. They are 8 and 6 and 3 and 1. And we homeschool, and that's a little bit part of my story, and why I feel like I can share this with you today is that this being at home is not new for us, which may sound great, but I've had to learn a lot. So when I was in college, I went to school to be a photographer, and so what that meant was I got to choose my own hours, and that was great, and I had to learn to work from home. I did have a part-time job outside the home, and that was great at times through college and early marriage. But ultimately, I wanted to be at home. And at that time, I didn't even want kids. So it was just a purely selfish desire. Just wanted to be at home. I loved being a wife. I loved setting up our home and learning how to cook and do all those things I was not good at. But I enjoyed it, and I learned. But probably the biggest thing was learning how to be at home and not lose my mind and not go into frumpy zone, if you know what I mean, where my husband was happy to see me when he got home. I haven't been sitting around in my pajamas eating Doritos all day. I did have those days, and it took me a while to learn how to combat those days. And so what those years did was they prepared me to become a stay-at-home mom, something I never thought I would do. And then a few years later, we decided to homeschool, something I never thought I would do. And so God has been preparing me, and even before this current time at home, our family went through a major crisis last year. We were hit by a tornado, and we had to leave our home, and that wasn't even the part that helped prepare me for this. Through this last year, we have had at least 4 months combined, not straight in a row, luckily, but 4 months where we have just been sick. And being sick at home is really hard because you can't even go enjoy the yard most of the time. And so those times, I think, prepared me for right now. And so I'm thankful that we are well during this time. I can do home life feeling good. You know, my kids are good, and there's nobody that's sick right now, and we're praising God for that. And so I just wanted to share with you a couple of things that I learned. It's actually 10 things, sorry. So grab a piece of paper if you want to. But just 10 things that I have learned to help kind of combat the spiritual battle that it is. You may be seeing some of that already. Being at home can cause some issues to come up that you maybe never quite felt, especially if you're not used to this stay-at-home mom gig. So I just wanted to share, but first off, I wanted to say that this is a spiritual battle, and it can be won and it can be lost, and you know that. You have probably already lost a few battles along the way just in the couple of days that we have been at home. And that's okay. There is a lot of grace in that, but I also know that Satan can use even the mundane little messes and frustrations and things like that to just cause us to lose this battle. So I want to tell you that we are here to fight this battle with you. And what you do right now matters. What you do in these next couple of weeks matter. They matter in the long run of your family, and in the faith of your children. It's going to matter. So you get to choose, is this going to be a childhood trauma that my kids are going to freak out about and be worried about and anxious? And there will be some of that, and that's okay, especially if your kids are older. But what can I do right now that helps my kids cope and to look back and say, I remember this weird time, but Mom made it fun. Mom and Dad made it fun, and it was okay. And it was a strange time. I don't really remember what that was all about, but it was fine. So that's what we're going for. And Mom, you are the temperature of the home. You set the temperature, whether it's going to be hot or cold, delightful, somewhere in the middle. So that is up to you, and it's a big thing, but it's easy to do with God in your corner. So that's my first thing, is every day before your kids, if possible, get in the Word. That can be hard to do if you've never done it. We can chat in the comments about different ways to do that, but that is the number one thing that I'm going to encourage you to do. I've got my notes over here, and I'm going to cheat and look at them a little bit. We are not professionals, so the things you see through this morning, we are just mamas sitting in our living room trying to not have the noise of our children in the background. So bear with us as we go. Number one, get in the Word before your kids if you can, and then get in the Word with them. Reading a story out of a children's Bible counts. It totally counts. Everything counts. It doesn't have to be this perfect set aside, light a candle, have my coffee, 3 hours of silence to count. It all counts. Jesus just wants us to seek after Him, and it's going to look different for everybody. It's going to look different for you every single day. Every day is going to be a little different, so just roll with it and give yourself lots of grace. So everything included with your kids count. Pray together, sing songs together, keep that music rolling, keep the TV off. Keep it off as much as possible. I know that's hard to hear right now when you're like, oh, but Frozen 2 just came out. There is time for that, and do that. Have the educational shows, have the biblical shows, do that, but keep it off as much as possible when you're just going about your day-to-day. Your background noise, let it be silence or let it be worship. Those are usually the two best places to go. Something else when you've got some free time, kiddos are napping, you're scrubbing dishes, whatever it is, godly podcasts and sermons. Fill your soul as much as you can during this time. And then also post your battle verse. And I know that sounds weird, but this is a spiritual battle, remember. So post that verse. I'm going to suggest to you 2 Chronicles 20:17. So let me read that for us. You will not need to fight this battle. Stand firm, hold your position, and see the salvation of the Lord on your behalf. O Judah and Jerusalem, do not be afraid, and do not be dismayed. Tomorrow, go out against them, and the Lord will be with you. And if you've never read that, 2 Chronicles 20, I encourage you to read that whole chapter. It is all about fasting and praising and seeking righteous counsel. And in the end, God fights the battle, and they stand back and watch. So be in the Word. Number 2, get dressed. I know that sounds crazy, but I come from a family of work-at-home people, and it's lovely, but that is one of the first things they told me when I got on this journey was you have to get dressed. And for you, that may be completely dressed, or some work really comfortable, but you're in some active wear so you can run around with your kids, or somewhere in between. Find what works for you. The things I will share about that is, for me personally, I like to be ready if there is an emergency. So I don't have to go get dressed before I can tend to that emergency. Or if a neighbor knocks on the door, I can open the door. I don't want to be embarrassed to open the door. So sometimes that's very minimal, but those are my 2 categories, things I strive for. And also get yourself a good pair of tennis shoes, like just for the house tennis shoes. If you can't go out and get a pair, find a pair you already have and throw them in the washing machine, get them good and clean, and wear them all throughout the day, because not only will it help your ankles and your knees and your back and anything else you might have going on, it'll help you be able to run out in the yard when a kid has an accident and not have to worry about stepping on pine cones. And you'll also be able to jump in the car when needed. You've got those shoes on ready to go. Keep them clean for the house, but they can serve you outside the house in an emergency. So get dressed. The difference between a t-shirt and a different t-shirt is astronomical. So just changing out of that sleeping t-shirt into just something where you walk by the mirror and you're like, oh, yeah, you look kind of cute. There's a big difference in that, right? So it just lifts your mood. Do whatever works for you. It's going to be different for everybody. So number 3 is sunshine. Get in the sunshine, get in God's creation. If there is not sunshine, we have those days. Just enjoy God's creation. I've got this window right here, and from here I can see new buds on the tree, and I can see my neighbor's flowers and things like that. So just enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the birds, put some bird seed out. There is just something magical about God's creation and what it can do for our moods. So number 4, stay healthy. That's also part of the getting out part. We're not stuck indoors most of the time during this quarantine. But also remember your water and your vitamins and really good food, because you're tempted to just kind of sit back and snack. I understand that. But when we're also worried about our kids' moods, people getting grumpy during this time, don't forget about them. I know I have gone hours and the kids are just falling apart, and I'm like, what is wrong? And then I realized they've not had water, they've had their milk or their juice or whatever. This kid has had some water, but that one, his water cup's still full. So get that water in them, get that water in you, and it's going to change moods. Get everybody out in the sunshine. So the next one, number 5, is to rest, nap, sleep, and Sabbath. And those are very different things. Rest throughout your day. Sit down. It's okay to sit down. Enjoy this time that the Lord is giving you. Take a nap. Think about those newborn days. When the baby is sleeping, you should be sleeping too. So take those naps as you need them, but also get good sleep at night. Go to bed early if you can. You've got less duties right now maybe, so get that good sleep in. And then Sabbath. If you are not used to taking a Sabbath with your family, that's something really good that you can practice right now. And again, we can talk about that further in the comments or maybe even next week. But a once a week unplugging, family together, which you're going to be doing a lot of anyways, but making a few purposeful steps to do it a little more. Not a restricting time, but just how can we serve the Lord through our rest and listening to Him? Put the chores away for a day. The world will keep turning without vacuuming and things like that. So number 6 is phone a friend. So important in this world of technology. We think we're social because we're on social media, right? And we're texting people and we're keeping up with people, but often we're not connecting. A conversation over text for me and my friends can take like 3 days sometimes to get a full conversation out. I had 55 minutes on the phone with one of my good friends the other day, and it was just food for the soul. Just a real conversation, even with kids interruptions and things like that. It was just so good, and it's something that I don't do enough. So when you're having those days, phone a friend. And even if y'all can't connect on the phone, still texting, sending pictures, sharing Bible verses, saying, here is my struggle right now, please pray for me. And you've got those friends, you do. If you don't, connect right here. We would love to do that for you and help encourage you. Number 7 is a brain dump. I know that sounds really odd, but when you are overwhelmed and the world is spinning out of control, it feels like, write it all down. Get it out of your head. Your head cannot hold it all. You will go crazy. So what that is, Misty Winkler, I call her a friend. She's a podcaster I've never met. I've never met her. I would love to meet her. I'd love to see her in person one day, but she talks about a brain dump. And what that is you just make a list, and it could take you days to get it all out, and that's okay. You write down your anxieties and your fears, and then you pray to God and you ask Him to take those, and you ask for forgiveness for carrying things that He never intended you to carry. A lot of these things are just things that we worry about, but we're not called to worry about these things. So hand them over, cross them off your list. Some things might be to-dos or projects around the house. Talk to your husband about those. Put stuff on the to-do list that needs to happen. Delegate some things to him. Delegate some things to your kids. Cross things out that aren't important, but just get it all out. And then end with things you're thankful for. Make a thankful for list and a prayer list. So just the things that are on your heart that are just weighing you down, write them down. Remember to pray for those people and those situations, but counter every one of those things with something you're thankful for. We are told over and over in Scripture to be thankful, and that thankfulness is just a gateway to so many other blessings and peace. So do the brain dump. That was number 7 if you're keeping count. I'll list them all again at the end. Number 8 is clear the clutter. You have the time, why not do it? I could go on and on about clutter. It's one of my favorite things to talk about, getting rid of stuff and organizing and making things pretty. But the main thing is making your life more simple. You're not tripping over stuff. You want to make a healthy meal, you've got the time to teach your kids to cook, but you can't see the kitchen counters. Start there. Don't start in the coat closet or under the bathroom sink where you're not going to see. Start with the visual clutter, things that are just going to mess with your mind, just like getting that stuff out in a brain dump. Clears your mind. Getting surfaces clear and floors clear and things like that will help your mind so much and help your soul. I know when my world gets a little crazy, it starts affecting me in here. So I love a clear space as much as possible, and that is so hard with kids, but it is possible, and it's a worthy goal. It's something worth reaching for, and teaching your kids right now, like, hey, as a family, we want to play that board game and we want to have dinner together, but we can't see the dining room table, so let's get it cleared off. So that was number 8. I'm sorry, number 9. Do something with your hands. That may be the decluttering. That may fill your soul like it does mine, but it may not. So that may be cooking or gardening or sewing or whatever it may be. It could be writing. It could be holding a book. When was the last time you got to sit down and hold a book? I don't know how busy you've been, but sometimes that's hard to do. It may also look like sitting down and playing trains with your little guy, something that you may not always make time for. I know I often forget to sit down on the rug and play with them. They want to play dolls or Legos, and those things are so good for all of us. So just take the time to do that while you've got that time right now. The last thing, number 10, is to get in some water. I know that sounds strange, but if I'm cranky or the kids are cranky, often a bath will knock out a lot of crankiness. When the weather gets good, get that water hose out, the baby pool, whatever it is, but get them in some water, get yourself in a water, end of the day, take that bath that you've been wanting to take, and then just when kids are cranky, give them that extra long bubble bath time. They love that. Throw everybody in the tub together, get them all good and clean, and just let them play. So I'm going to go over all 10 again real fast in case you're writing them down. Get in the Word, get dressed, get in God's creation, stay healthy, rest, nap, sleep, and Sabbath, phone a friend, do a brain dump, clear the clutter, do something with your hands, and then get in water. So these are all the things that I just wanted to share with you today about how to fight any crankiness that might come your way, and just to remember that this is a spiritual battle. Get your battle plan, and this can be part of it. Make your own, and we wish all the best for you and your family, and we're so glad you're here. Stay tuned because we have a lot of stuff coming your way, and it's all going to be saved on our page, so you don't have to try to listen right now. You can come back anytime today or through the next week, and then as the quarantines continue, we will continue to do this every Wednesday as long as we feel led to do it, and that it's something that's beneficial to our group and to you guys. So if you would, leave a comment on my video or any other video, ask questions, let's start some conversations, and let's just enjoy this time together, and this time of encouragement from the different people that you're going to see. And we just thank God that we have this opportunity to use social media like this to connect and maybe not feel so isolated and alone. And so just remember that you aren't alone. You have us, and ultimately you have God. Stay plugged into Him, most importantly. And again, we thank you for being here, and hang tight. We've got more for you coming up.